Marc Andreessen looks like if an egg discovered venture capital. And yes, I know the obvious joke. Does the egg-shaped head mean genius-level intelligence? Technically, no. You cannot measure someone's skull and conclude, this guy is a genius. That is not how intelligence works. But the funny part is, the science is not completely zero. Brain volume and IQ do have a positive correlation in large studies. It is not strong enough to judge any individual person, but it does mean the old, bigger brain idea is not totally insane. It is just much weaker than people want it to be. So no, Marc Andreessen is not smart because of his head shape. He is smart because his entire career is one giant lesson in leverage. Andreessen co-created Mosaic, helped bring the web to the mainstream through Netscape, became extremely successful in his 20s, and then co-founded Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most influential venture capital firms in Silicon Valley. That is not a normal career path. That is not work hard, wait your turn, and hope your manager notices you. That is spotting a major platform shift before everyone else, getting attached to it early, and letting the wave carry you further than ordinary effort ever could. His famous line was, "Software is eating the world." The updated version is obvious. AI is eating the world because software already had insane leverage. You write code once, and it can serve 1 million people. You build a product once, and it can scale globally. You create a network once, and every new user can make the network more valuable. AI adds another multiplier. Now, the software does not just sit there. It writes, it codes, it sells, it designs, it summarizes, it analyzes, it teaches, and it compounds human output. This is why physical labor and intellectual labor are not in the same universe. Linear work is simple. I do 1 hour work, and I get 1 hour of output. Nonlinear work is different. I build something once, and it keeps working while I sleep. A chess grandmaster can play 10 weaker players at the same time, and adding all of their brains together does not magically make them the best player in the world. More people do not automatically create better thinking. 10 average decisions can still just be 10 average decisions. That is the brutal truth of leverage. Quality compounds harder than quantity. This is also why the Epstein angle is interesting, but not in the cheap conspiracy way. Epstein was evil, full stop, but he was also a parasite of powerful networks. He spent years trying to get close to scientists, billionaires, tech founders, academics, and powerful people. He understood that intelligence, status, secrets, and access were all currencies. So if people in that world treated Andreessen as different from the average Silicon Valley billionaire, that is not a moral endorsement. It is a dark signal. It means even a predatory status operator could recognize that Andreessen was not just another rich tech guy. He was a systems thinker, a leverage thinker, and that is the whole point. Andreessen does not seem obsessed with looking busy. He seems obsessed with finding the layer where one move multiplies. Networks compound, software compounds, capital compounds, reputation compounds, social capital compounds, audience compounds, distribution compounds. Once you understand that, the modern world starts looking completely different. A normal person sees a post as a post. A high-leverage person sees a post as distribution. A normal person sees a podcast as a conversation. A high-leverage person sees a podcast as trusted scale. That is why Andreessen going on Joe Rogan makes perfect sense. Same with people like Sam Altman and Jensen Huang. Rogan is not just a podcast. It is a trust pipeline into millions of minds. That is leverage. Andreessen Horowitz does the same thing with media. Their posts are not just random business content. They use essays, podcasts, visuals, frameworks, and deep dives to compress complex ideas into shareable form. That is high leverage communication. Take a massive idea, compress it into a clean phrase or visual, then let the network distribute it for you. There are basically 2 creator loops. Loop 1, problem, build, ship, learn, repeat. That is a founder loop. You do not just talk. You create something, release it, collect feedback, and improve. Loop 2, idea, express, publish. That is the intellectual loop. You notice a pattern. Explain it clearly and let the idea travel. Andreessen does both. He invests in builders, but he also publishes ideas that shape how builders think. That is why the Techno-Optimist Manifesto matters. You do not have to agree with every sentence. The core claim is still powerful. Civilization improves when technology improves. If you zoom out historically, the biggest jumps in human quality of life came from tools, infrastructure, medicine, energy, computing, logistics, and communication. The anti-tech position usually focuses on the downside of the newest tool. Social media is bad. AI is dangerous. Smartphones ruin attention. Privacy is dead. Some of that is true. But the techno-optimist answer is, compare to what? Compare to having no distribution? Compare to being trapped in your local geography? Compare to needing permission from institutions to publish, learn, sell, or build? The internet damaged privacy in some ways, but it also gave ordinary people leverage that used to belong only to institutions. Fame has downsides too, but pretending fame is mostly bad as cope. Fame is distribution. Distribution is leverage. Leverage is power. A lot of anti-fame and anti-success moralizing comes from people attacking something because they do not have access to it. Andreessen's politics are less interesting than his deeper pattern. He moved toward supporting Republicans because he saw the regulatory environment around startups, crypto, and AI as hostile to builders. But the deeper point is not really left versus right. His principles are mostly politics agnostic. If you understood his worldview beforehand, you could almost predict where he would go. He is not asking, which side sounds nicer? He is asking, which system lets builders build? That is the Andreessen principle. Build where the compounding happens. Do not spend your life stuck in linear work if you can escape into a nonlinear system. Do not just trade time for money. Build assets. Build distribution. Build software. Build reputation. Build networks. Build things that keep moving after you stop touching them. Because leverage is everything. And the people who understand leverage often look lucky from the outside. They look like anomalies. They look like they just happen to be in the right place at the right time. But usually, they were hunting for curves before everyone else even knew the curve existed. Andreessen found the web before the web was obvious. Then he found venture capital as a way to own pieces of the next waves. Then he turned media, essays, podcasts, and social capital into even more leverage. That is the real lesson. Not be Marc Andreessen. Not have an egg-shaped head. Not pick the right political team. The lesson is this. Find the systems where one correct move can echo for 10 years. Linear work keeps you alive. Nonlinear work changes your life. And if AI really is the next layer on top of software, then the people who learn to use it now are not just getting a productivity tool. They are getting a lever. And in the modern world, the lever is the whole game.